to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Ebro in the Morning. Give it up one time, John Boyega on the program.
Oh, man. Good to be here.
Origins of the last name Boyega. What is the origin of that name?
Well, it comes from my name Boyega, which is my full second name. And it comes from another Nigerian name called Boyega, which actually leaves the G in front. But as a performer, I wanted my own identity, so I said, cut out that G. Boyega is what I want to be called.
But unapologetically Nigerian.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
First generation in the UK. Your family moved from
first generation. Mum is Nigerian. Dad is Nigerian. Mum's got the tribal marks. They're Yoruba.
What
people.
tribe? Yoruba.
Yeah. So they're fully. When the doors closed at home, I was in Nigeria. I was raised in Nigeria.
Right.
You know how that goes.
Yeah.
So you were going to be a doctor or a lawyer.
I mean, especially for the climate too. You better be in a profession that's going to offer up some money soon enough.
Right.
You see them bills stacking up with the red letters on it, asking for the cash. Definitely you would prefer a doctor or a lawyer because that's a path that's kind of like set. But
But they supported you. They supported you from early on the acting tip.
Yeah, once I pitched it to them, and I mean, even my mum and dad are kind of loving. So even when they had doubts about it, they still drove me to auditions. Yeah. But then maybe they drove to the auditions with more of a stern face, like.
I get that.
Yeah.
Wait, so when you first landed your big break, whatever that was, your biggest break, what was the reaction like?
My mum and dad were surprised because it was Attack the Block, which was like a UK hood movie based on aliens coming to the hood.
Okay.
And then the first day, we were actually shooting in the hood, and it was the first place my mum and dad had settled when they first had me.
Wow.
So we were shooting on that street, like shooting a robbery scene. But literally, my dad was just like looking at the cameras, looking at the crew, and he was just like, "Yeah, John, like." We lived here when we first came to the country and we had you. We lived in that house right there. Now we're on the same street filming a movie. They were just blown by it.
That's so dope.
Yeah. And then you buy him a house and that just kind of.
Oh, you bought him a house.
First things first.
Yeah, that's it. When I got the paycheck, when I sorted out all the bills, the bills that I had, accumulated from being an actor coming up, I then sorted out
the house
my parents.
post Star Wars?
No. I used that Star Wars money. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you got the Star Wars check. You said, "Mom, you know what?"
Yeah. And then I asked my dad what he would want in theory because I wanted it to be a surprise. And then I just kind of got him a nice.
That must
crib.
have been a beautiful moment, man.
Yeah, it was. I filmed it and everything. I filmed it but released it 3 years after I got them the house because I'd be weird with posting stuff on social media. But it was such a good moment. I was just like, we want to see that.
People love seeing that.
Yeah, man.
I know this sounds very weird, but like, I'm sort of jealous when people get to do that for their parents because me being from the suburbs, my parents,
they
were
always
fine.
have
They have a house.
Yeah.
If I tried to buy my parents a house as a gift, they'd be like, "What? We're not moving.
We're not moving anywhere." Yeah, see, I was worried about that, but my mum and dad, they've been living in the trenches in the UK for a minute.
Right, so they were excited to get a proper house.
What? They were excited to have space. And my dad is one of those words of affirmation people. He's a preacher too, so you know how that goes.
Wow.
So he's always been like, "Nah, one day this is where we're gonna live." I was just hearing him and say, "I bet when I have the cash flow, I'll make it happen."
So the Star Wars moment.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about being cast in that. Now, I grew up watching Star Wars, so Lando
Me too.
Calrissian,
That's my guy.
Black man in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Carl Weathers,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
No.
James L. Jones is Darth.
James Earl Jones
As
is Darth,
Darth
and
was
You're
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Me too. He's a legend. Handsome. Malt liquor. Commercials.
Billy D.
Billy D. Yeah. Oh, the actor for Lando. Yeah, Billy D.
Yeah. Lando Calrissian. I can't hit me with the button. I can't believe I blew that.
Yeah.
But anyway, why was it in retrospect? You get cast. Why is this a thing? Like I know why it's a thing. Racism.
Right.
But there was a black man in the original.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. I thought coming into a franchise, they've already had Billy D. Williams, already have Darth Vader, and to say most of the Star Wars fans kind of get it. They go, yeah, we've already had that. Obviously, they've been sprinkled in like chocolate chips, like they do. But now, it's much more progressive time. You would think that there'd be an acceptance.
So you think because it was more of a prominent role?
I think it definitely was. I mean, think about it. Star Wars hasn't been around for a minute. When people mention Star Wars, who you thinking? You're thinking Harrison Ford, you're thinking Mark Hamill. The white boys have their safe haven, right?
Right.
And then there has been an awakening. Have you felt it? Bah! It's a black guy. You're like, ah! I mean, for them, they're like, oh, my dreams and visions and my sense of my childhood is all being stripped away for this woke, the woke-ish, where you're kind of like, damn, they managed to have every alien in there, but a black man can't even. The sun didn't hit no humans hard enough.
Bro.
Well,
That's
no,
what
but then
I-
it's like, yo, you got people, you got Jabba the Hutt, you got all these crazy robots are
But
good to go.
I would
but
say
a black
what-
man
is
is
off
a
the charts.
no-fly zone.
But it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense either because race has nothing to do with Star Wars.
It's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
So who
That's all.
cares? It's like they're doing it on Game of Thrones this season. They added black characters.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, why not?
I just
no
don't-
one's gonna go. Oh well, where did they come from?
No, but well, they
I'm just
are,
saying,
because we're
all
watching
these universes include the sun. How the sun shine? the sun in these projects is shining real dim.
Right.
I don't really
Not only
understand
that,
that.
but
It's happening under the
Even in
sea.
the-
It's happening under the
to
sea.
Ariel. It's
Look,
to
the black
Haley
people under the sea,
Bailey.
even under the sea, they trying to pinpoint a girl for being a mermaid in the Caribbean. you lot accepted that the crab was Jamaican or whatever that accent was that they put in the animated, but the girl can't even have dreads.
Yeah.
Her melanin levels can't even be above like what 45, 50%.
Yo, I saw the best meme yesterday. Do you guys see this thing going around? It's a picture of Ariana Grande when she was younger, and it's a picture of her now. And you know she's much darker now, and her hair is dark, blah blah blah. And it said, Ariana Grande used to look like Ariel from Little Mermaid. Now she looks like Ariel from Little Mermaid.
Well, you know, Ariana Grande is like Puerto Rican or something, right? She's like,
Yeah.
Mixed with something.
So yeah, she got a little brown in there. So a little bit of
Sometimes she's
melanin.
tan.
But
I'd love to see
I
it.
wanted to bring that up because now, fast forward, I see you on social media after George Floyd gets murdered in the streets, and what I see you clearly emotional because
Yeah.
we all were. But it was another level for you because you had already dealt with racism by being a black man in Star Wars. And now it seemed like you were conflicted about whether or not you could be a human being.
Yes, 100%. I realized that when you get into these franchise films, there seems to be a weird notion of people trying to make you a political figure that's supposed to make everybody happy. Also, when you're a black man that gets wealth, people assume that you shouldn't be as sensitive to these issues. You're rich now. As if I don't have family, as if I don't have boys, as if I don't have the man them, like the girls that I know, as if I'm not from a place, as if I'm not multi-layered. And that for me was a conflict because I was like, yeah, they really want us to exist in an industry in which we basically wear a mask. And that's what a lot of people, especially a lot of people that have been othered in a lot of our communities, when they go into industries, that's the request. It's like, take off the mask and be a well-rounded politician. I'm like, nah, we're seeing black bodies constantly being harmed. Me as a black man, I'm in a position and have a platform. Why are we being nice and political about this? I'm looking at my industry. I say, ain't no one saying nothing. It's kind of weird.
So that pissed you off.
Pissed me off because I'm like, what we're not gonna back our people, right? We're not gonna back what is affecting the civilians right now. What you guys are concerned about as celebrities or whatever you call us, we're not gonna say anything. But next year we're gonna expect you guys to enhance our careers by coming to see us in the movies. What's going on here? It's a bit weird that we think that wealth and fortune comes and all of a sudden you forget your past life. You forget bro that was on the corner that didn't have much. Do you know what I mean? You forget your boys like Lavelle that you went high school with and that you had to be 10 man up because man them were trying to rob you. They think that you get wealth and you just forget all that. When you don't have money, man, sometimes you give money too much powers. Like it does not erase
Right.
what you stand for a lot of the times.
And what you've been through.
And what you've been through. And when you see black bodies consistently being harmed online, and then I'm in this position where I'm looking around my crib, the crib nice, the finances right, it's all good, but then I'm supposed to just be like, yeah, we're so sorry for what happened to George Floyd and Belly Majinga and all these individuals that have been killed by injustice. We're so sorry about that. And I'm supposed to keep it cordial. I couldn't do that, man. I can't exist in an industry that expects that of me as a black man.
Did you feel like you were fighting in that moment? Because when I see you on social media, what I got from you was like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to war for what I believe is right. Did you feel like you were risking things? Did you feel?
No, definitely in the moment, I felt like it was a risk because I know how this goes. They're going to pinpoint and call you difficult eventually. They're going to say that you're difficult, and they're going to say that you're operating from a place of anger. They're going to say that it's about your ego, it's about you trying to enhance your own career. They're going to say various things. Everything, but I had to get to a point where I'm kind of like, wow, you can't rely on the public. You can't rely on people to define your truth. There's something that I say. There's only two options that this is going to go when it comes to opinions of me or how I've dealt with things. Number one, you're going to be right, and I'm fake. I'm a fake dude. And I'm behind the scenes. If you're right, I'm going to be thinking, damn, they're right, and they found me out. You're right, you've won. And there's the second thing, where I know I'm coming from truth, where I know I genuinely care about my people. I know I genuinely care about not being the only one at top. I want to see an industry in which everybody gets opportunities. And with that being my truth, you have to settle on that. You can't try and convince everybody. And imagine trying convincing, millions of people from the Star Wars world. It's too hard. Sometimes you just gotta do you, and then hope time will tell,
And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, is it in England, do people sort of act like the race problem is an American problem because of slavery and Jim Crow? And like England, no, we don't have that.
Yeah,
It seems like it's
They exported slavery.
But also,
It never landed on the continent.
But also, racism is given a much more of a subtle approach in England, a subtle reputation, and that's true to a certain extent. But come to the hood. Come to the hood.
And see the disparity.
The white people them in the hood was the first one to call me the N-word. Was the first one to call me a monkey in Thamesmead. In London. And it was, I think that people think that sometimes it's it's institutional, or sometimes it's behind the scenes, but I'm like, nah, sometimes it gets real. I like to shine a light on Chris Cabba, who recently was shot down in London, just a few weeks ago, an unarmed black man, and people are waiting to hear more information about that because it's kind of a shock to our history. But if you look back, we've had loads of black men in police custody who have died of mysterious causes, and they've never been able to get the right support, and the families haven't been able to get the right word. So for me, coming from that environment, seeing all that, I lost one of my closest friends when I was 9 years old, Damilola Taylor, which was one of the biggest murder cases in the UK that me and my sister had to be involved in because we were one of the last people with him. I come from something, and I think people saw Star Wars, they ain't clock.
Yeah.
Put a lightsaber in a man's hand.
Put him on a different planet.
And put him on a different planet, all of a sudden you ain't have no history. You don't have no background. You don't have something you're coming from. So when you're passionate about something, when you're speaking like this, people go, this is so shocking. I can't believe he has some culture. Yeah, the fuck I do.
Yeah.
So, coming to this point and explaining that, but now being in an industry where there's much more of an acceptance, I've met my allies to speak to. Viola Davis, Jamie Foxx, who kind of reach out. Michael K. Williams, my bro.
Rest in peace.
Who accepted my call for him to be in our movie Breaking just based on my speech. He was like, yo, he said, nah, I mess with you, bro. Yeah. Where you want me, where I'm about to be there and support you, bro. And for me, that's just like, this is what this has done. It's filtered out the nonsense and attracted me to the people that are for me. And that's in the industry as well as everywhere else.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so you got rid of the people that you didn't need in the first place.
Yeah, man. They a bit soft anyway. You know what I mean? A bit soft. I need people that actually want to change things in this industry, because coming into this industry, I'll be honest, like, I didn't know it was this bad. I didn't know there'd be feedback about your race over your work. I thought people go into you if you're crap, which is fair. Like, those are the conversations I'm okay with. Like, if you didn't like me in a movie, I'm like, that's our audience. They're the big boss. Let them have their opinions. But in terms of my melanin levels, I can't even control that, bro. Like, there's nothing I can do about that. It was a shock, but now to be in this position, I'm like, cool. At least I don't fuck around when it comes to that shit.
Do you feel though? Okay, so I think things are probably the loudest right now.
Yeah.
Because we're actually seeing progress in a way.
Yeah.
Do you sense in Hollywood an actual attempt in earnest to put black people in important positions on sets with movies? Is there an actual change happening that you can feel?
We've definitely seen allies coming up, definitely. And when I say that, to speak from truth, the black side is standing up and people are networking. Telling you, the actors, the artists, the producers, everyone's talking.
Right.
There's a network forming, and people are connecting.
Hey, I'm
with each
doing
other.
this thing. You should get on this.
Like,
I'm going to plug you in here.
Yeah, there's that connection which we need. But on top of that, it's interesting seeing people in powerful positions within the studios who are surprising. It's like, yeah, I would like to join you guys on your pursuit, and I would like to be a part of what you want to do. I put the money up. I'll make the movie. You got those kind of guys, the big bosses, the white boys with the money who are kind of like, you know what? Let's make some movement. I have met people like that, and I have met those individuals that have put the money where their mouth is. But it's also about behind the scenes, right? If you've got much more of people from diverse backgrounds as producers, execs, that changes the stories we get to tell. Like The Woman King is only about because you had Viola Davis, and her husband Julius through Juvie Productions. Trying to get this movie made. That's the only reason that this movie is made in this high quality with this kind of reach. Is because you had those producers, that representation behind the scenes as well as in front of it. So I still think it's an ongoing journey, but I like to shed light and praise to the small goals so that we can keep motivated and keep going. And right now, definitely, there are ripples of people standing up and saying, you know what, let's consider this movie. Let's consider this collaboration, and it's been fantastic.
Oh, let's stay on The Woman King for a second because the trailer's fire. I have not seen the film as of yet.
Okay, cool.
Right, so I missed I wasn't able to get to the premiere.
Yeah.
This movie is based on truth, true story of what the Dora Milaje was based on.
Yeah,
right?
I heard
Which
that.
is from the
Black Panther world,
but the original name of the women
Agojie women who are from West Africa, who are basically tasked with protecting their king under the rule of the King's Guard. It's an all-female military unit in which the young king, King Gezo, who I play, when he came to power, he believed in the way of old, in the way of tradition, which meant the empowerment of everybody, especially the women. And Viola Davis plays a fictional character within this real world called Naninska, who's trying to figure out where they're going as a people. They have a bad rep too. There's conflicting issues as they're involved in the slave trade.
So they do show, I was going to ask, they do show that in the film.
Come on, man. People we got to watch movies before we start commenting on it we don't waste our saliva in that and pump up our blood pressure. But there is that all of those issues are explored in the movie. It's very complex, man. And that's what I love about it. I don't like movies that are too much on the propaganda, that propaganda, that one simplistic message. That's not this. This is complex, it's detailed, and it's very human.
The filming, it was filmed in Africa as well?
Yeah, in South Africa, fully, yeah. So I went down to South Africa for the full thing and filmed there. It was brilliant. I had an amazing time.
So were you able to, any of your skills with the lightsaber, were they transferable into battle?
And you know what? I was asking her, I'm like, Gina, like our director, I'm like, Gina, like, am I gonna come in and help out?
Because I know a little something about, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she was like, nope.
This ain't about you, it's about the women.
It ain't about you, bro. It's about about the women. And supporting them has been a gift because it finally gave me a position as an actor to be on a set like that and just watch. And these women went in through 6 months of training. They transformed their body. Lashana's back had a back. Like she's walking through just looking ripped and muscular. And it gets you into the vibe that, these are our leads and I'm here to support them, man. It's been so dope. So dope.
I mean, growing up and raised by a lot of black women, there's always been conversation about the black woman's role in the family, in the household, in the community, right? And even when you look at, civil rights movements and social justice movements, oftentimes the first ones on the front lines have been black women.
Yep.
At every turn.
Yep.
And so some of that is, just the dynamic of the black family.
Yep.
And it's how much of what your study going into creating this film and working with everyone, did you start to see, like even with your own mother and sister, cousins and sisters, just that the idea of the strong black woman, which I think, and I have another part of this that I want to talk about because we have this perception of the strong black woman doesn't need support. And hearing you say supporting these women, how is that shown in the film?
Oh, it's shown through the position that King Gezo himself puts these women in. The fact that there are certain conversations that they have that are almost, you would feel like you'd be in a scene with all men speaking about this, in terms of violence, in terms of war. These are scenes in which the king speaks with the women as much as the men. When you see in the courtyard, when it comes to opinion about what they're going to do as a nation, the women speak as much as, the men speak. There's an appreciation and respect for opinion, for the greater good. It's not about getting my self-respect as a man. It's just about okay, how do we get the
What's
answers?
best for
if
us?
he has the answer, she has the answer. Who's got it? We just need everybody to be on the same playing field to be able to express and then to be able to be listened to. And then going in, I was like, yeah, I like that because that's how my family operate. We have more women in the household than men. It's just me and my dad, and the other 3 are women. So, in that household coming up, man, you need to learn how to negotiate because sometimes, as a man, you're not right, My energy, my testosterone, my masculinity sometimes makes me focus on one thing. My mom sometimes is that soft tap on the shoulder that goes, young boy, perspective. You ain't looking at it from there. You ain't looking from there. I'm just there like, oh, yeah. Thanks, mum. You know what I mean? So that reflects also in the movie as well as the connection with the characters.
And coming out of what you articulated to us after, during George Floyd and what you put on social media, finding a tribe. Rosenberg, before we started the convo, you was like, yo, you got a busy year ahead of you. So it looks like, this was definitely a springboard, in a great way of you telling your truth, living in your reality
100%,
has helped your career.
Yes, 100%.
Being the truest form of yourself.
100%. Because now I live in an industry in which you know how I roll. And if you don't want to mess with me, you have the choice not to. And that doesn't even need to be a conversation in our industry. You just don't call. But then now the same opportunity, you get people like Jamie Foxx like, yo, bro, let's do this movie. Let's work. Yeah. You get Viola Davis. I know Jordan Peele has also publicly, claimed that, would love to work as well. So it's like that in itself, you never know who's watching. And, in this life, all of us, we got to find who's for us sometimes, especially to operate. We can't make everybody happy.
And it can be unpleasant. That path can be a little unpleasant at first because...
I don't know how people do. I rate people that do it, I sometimes think about Will. I think about Will Smith, how over the years, he's just been charming and just been consistently trying to make the audience happy over the years. Sometimes, it's just, you can't do that forever.
And even
but my generation, we ain't doing all of that.
Yeah, and even like you said, like the actors that came before you who didn't even have the opportunity because it would be shunned. You know what I mean? No, blacklisted.
Right.
You know?
But look at, even through the little bravery they have shown, look at the doors they're opening for us, my generation now. And we cannot but be grateful for it because now, I'll be honest, actors in my generation, anyone you can name that you probably think of that we talk, that sit down and talk, we're not doing all of that, man. We're not doing all this, when you become an actor, you also have to be like some political figurehead, clean cut, always have to say the right things, no emotion. We're not doing that, guys. That time is done. It's over.
Well, I imagine if you were to sit down and talk to Morgan Freeman.
Oh, he never gave a shit. He didn't. From the beginning, he didn't care.
Can you imagine how different though his experience was?
Yeah.
The amount of battles he was having at every.
Samuel L. Jackson.
So even then in the 80s, even because I'm imagining when you showed up to Star Wars, for example, the level of set you're on and how you're treated. I'm sure it's something that for older black actors they can't even fathom getting that when you first get into the game.
And that's what, and you see again and again that doors have been opened. But I look at Samuel Jackson, look at all these individuals. It's because they stayed grounded in themselves and who they are. And they power through, and that's why we are seeing these opportunities. I'm kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, well, now I'm 30. Most, if you think about Michael B, if you think about Daniel Kaluuya and a few people, we're all coming to that kind of mid-30s, whatever stage, the prime stage. It's now, what doors do we open? What doors do we open for those coming behind us? And it's a cool moment.
So, can you tell us what was it like when you took the step when you get in Star Wars? I'm just curious because anytime you see something of that budget, it's just, was it overwhelming to even get to set and look around at what the hell this whole thing was?
Oh, it was exciting to see it. But you got to think about it, man. I always tell people, let's say you went away for 6 months and you went to the gym and you got ripped up and you came back. Who's going to be more surprised about your success? You or the people looking at your body?
Right.
So a part of it is I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate that this has happened, but I know what works for.
I'm me.
Right. Also Disney, we all know what we all work because is in their best interest to find the best actor for the job. So they know what the process was like. So we're all coming together kind of relieved that, wow, we're finally here. Right. But then there's that moment of, we got to shoot one of the biggest movies of all time.
And how many
now it's and that's what gets you. It's
how many more people are watching you do that than when, say, you did Attack the Block?
Exactly. I mean, it's triple. I mean, it's on a whole other level. It's action figures. It's your face gonna be on tangerines and stuff. Like it's gonna be a whole different experience.
And do you talk? I'm just curious. I'm always curious about these movies that require a ton of special effects and all that stuff. Are you still directed directly by J.J. Abrams? Like, are you sitting there talking to him between?
Yeah. I mean, JJ's gonna come in, but I'm a playful actor. You know, if acting first started out to me, jumping from one sofa to the other and pretending there was lava on the ground with my sister.
Of course.
That was all acting was. That's that CG acting. There was no lava there.
Right.
They'll put it in later. It's just about the moment of just, expressing yourself. And it's the same kind of fun, It's like, sometimes I'm like, JJ, I got it. Like, I know exactly what to do.
So he'll try to set the scene for you.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, cool, man. Let's do this, bro. We'll roll these cameras. Let's get to work, Because sometimes it's just the vibe and the feel. When you're passionate about something, you can find good moments.
What's your style? Are you the guy that gets the role and then you stay in the character, while on set, week out? There's some people
You're
who
not
are
a
like,
method guy.
No.
How you doing?
No. I just come and act. I do my job and go home.
Who had that statement about that?
Hey, listen, I think it was
Larry David. I saw someone.
It was an actor that told another actor.
Yeah, he was like, "Isn't
act.
it? Yeah, what do you?" It's De Niro, I think.
It was someone. There's a famous
and they
story
were
about
asking him about an actor who's method acting. He's like, "You have to become the person. What's the acting part?"
Who's famous for doing that? Is it DiCaprio?
I don't know.
Does it?
No, I don't think DiCaprio.
There's a few
But there
of them.
are a
Was it?
few. I think maybe Gerard Leto or someone does some
Yeah, they
method.
get
I know.
into
Oh
but-
yeah, Leto does.
Nah.
It stays all the way in the whole time.
Daniel
Daniel
Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis, yeah, he does that. But he's really good. But I don't do that. Even for the movie with the bro Michael K, like I didn't do that. Like it was shoot the intense movie during the day, go back to the crib with the boys, and I got the friends all at the crib, go back to the crib after and have a good time. Take off the character. My head was bald. I had to shave my hair every day like the character. So there was kind of like that was my ritual to get into it every morning.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like the bald head, clean that off, have a shower, put my cap on, chains on, let's go out.
Right. You're
Right.
Yeah.
And
I need to drop
I'm
the
sure in
character.
some ways I've interviewed actors before where coming out of filming something super intense.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so like the movie's done, you've become this thing. You've lost weight.
Yes.
You've done all of this stuff
yeah.
to get there. And then you got to kind of climb back out of there and find yourself.
It can be hard when you
And
devote
so
that
I'm
much.
sure your process helps you maintain a little bit of more balance.
Exactly, and that's the key. For me, I want to try at least, at the very least, because it's hard and complicated for people in different ways. But for me, I don't want my family side to dwindle just because I'm on this job. I don't want time with friends to just be I don't want it to feel like it's not a good connecting moment with friends and family. I don't want these other aspects of my life to lose quality just because of this role. So I try to find a balance. I can't lie. I was out there, man. Filming it. You're doing intensity, crying in the day and shaking in the day with Michael K. Williams performing with Nicole Bahari. Then that night, it's just me, my best friend, my boys. Like, where we going? We outside.
Roll
You know what I mean?
some, smoke some,
Yeah, man.
take a shot.
Just go and chill and relax to have that detachment.
Did Michael K ever roll out with you and party a bit? Because Michael K is known to show up to a party.
I know,
and get on the dance floor.
but I think he was being well behaved out in LA. It was intense for us, especially the first 2 weeks. We didn't have as much time, and his schedule was tight. Bringing in him in and out. And to be honest, Michael was doing us a favor. I mean, we didn't even have the bag to offer him for his time. So it was sheer passion. So to make it easy for him, get him in and out, shoot him as quickly as possible, because this is a favor.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
What's on the docket, man? Coming. So you got the Woman King out this weekend. Everybody buy your tickets right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then
Copy
Breaking
seat.
is just out in digital, so for everybody to see, is out on all major platforms with myself, Nicole Bahari, Michael K. Williams, and then I got Day Clone Tyrone.
Yeah, what the
coming
hell
out.
is They Clone Tyrone? It sounds crazy.
Yeah, what is that?
Hey, look, man, it's a pimp, a prostitute, and a drug dealer finding out there's some white people doing some crazy stuff in the hood, and they got to figure it out.
When's this out?
It should be later this year. It's
This is
out.
with Jamie Foxx.
There's Jamie Foxx and Tiana
They
Paris.
Clone
joint.
Tyrone.
Yeah. It's like
Great name.
Amazing.
the people that you wouldn't expect to solve your mysterious crimes are now put in the forefront. Jamie Foxx is the pimp, Tiana Paris is a prostitute, and I'm the drug dealer.
So it's a comedy.
Well, it's something. It's something. It's a weird mix of genres. I definitely say, there's so much mystery to it, but that's the key to the whole entire story. I can't wait for you guys to see.
When was this come out? Is it to the theaters?
Netflix is a big Netflix release.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're hitting that with the digital as soon as we hit the last quarter of this year.
John Boyega, man. It's been a pleasure to meet you,
Yeah,
bro.
Pleasure,
Thank
man.
you. Come back
And I
again.
hope you have me back.
Well,
Any projects I want to make sure we,
You got
where
the
should we
open
chop it
invite.
up? Yeah,
Bro,
because I've been watching this show for a bit, man. Good job and
Pull
good work,
up, man.
man.
Just
Yeah,
pull
man.
up and we talk shit, man.
Yeah,
and,
man.
And
As always.
Get the info to the people, bro.
Of course.
John Boyega, one
Love,
time,
love,
man.
love.
Yeah, man. Go check the Woman King this weekend.
Yeah.